Hi guys, Mulos here. So today's video, I am just going to rank the government portals that, according to my very scientific Mulos scale, out of 10. I do a lot of statutory compliance issues. I do the PACRA, ZRA, NAPSA, NHIMA, workers' compensation, and a whole host of others, NCC, EIZ, a whole host of others. So I just ranked some of the ones I use the most, from the best to the worst, according to my preferences and all. So this is in no way a definitive ranking of these things. You may have different opinions and all, but let me just start. So my number one ranked government portal is the PACRA portal. This is an extremely well-built website. I think they don't even upgrade it that much because you can't improve upon perfection. If a lot of people don't like the PACRA website, they think it's a lot of things, but personally, I love it. And the time when the PACRA portal and website were down because they were forced to migrate to the government portal, I was extremely sad. And so here on the PACRA website, it's very easy to use. On resources, you can get all the forms that you need when submitting. You can find all the fees, all the publications, all the status, statutes. You can get the ISIC codes, business classifications. There's a lot of stuff that you can get in the resources. Mostly I use the online portals. Let me just come here to PACRA portal. All right, so PACRA portal, you can log in with an email address or with your Google account. If you've created if you've created an account with a Google email, you can log in with an email, or you can use Google sign in. Let me just sign in. So now this website is extremely clean. You've got the dark mode or normal mode. I prefer dark mode. The normal mode, it's too bright for me, so I prefer dark mode. Now here it's extremely simple. Your registered businesses, those businesses you have registered from your portal, it will appear there. You can search the registry in case you're a journalist or you want to check your suppliers or business partners to see whether they are compliant or stuff like that. You can register a business, file returns. I don't use this dashboard. I usually just come here to my cases. Now here in my cases, it's a very, very simple interface. It's going to show you things which maybe they have reverted to you, approved, and all of that. And there's a very, very simple hack when using PACRA. As long as you remember the name of the company that you registered or anything. If I were to type A, you'll see here that I have 177 cases that I've done in PACRA. I use this portal a lot. So whichever company you have registered, you will find them all here. If the company started with a Z, all the companies with Z that you have done, you'll find them here. So as long as if you've done multiple works for let's say this company, you'll find everything here, from the annual returns you have filed, the legal printouts, everything will appear here. Now, all that said, this website is not 100% perfect. There are a number of things which it doesn't do or have, and that's if you're doing business registration, annual returns, search, a name search, a printout, those standard things. This portal works. But if you're doing things like alteration of share capital, transmission of shares, transfer of shares, allotment of shares, change in directors and the likes, those will not appear on this portal. So you actually have to keep paper files and you won't find them on the online portal. Then another thing here on services, all of these things work, adding, if you want to add an existing business, clear a name, reserve a name, register a business, file annual returns, get a printout, get an invoice, search the registry. All of these things work, except this one, increase nominal capital. It doesn't work. So these are the only two, it's just nitpicking. Those are the only two faults that I have with the PACRA website. Otherwise, the PACRA portal gets a 9 out of 10 on the Mulos scale. It's a really, really great site. Whoever built it, mwah, to you. Now, my number 2 portal or government portal that I actually love using is the ZRA portal. A lot of people again hate this portal for whatever reasons. Personally, I absolutely love it. It's not perfect, but I love it. So here, if you come to the ZRA website, the most common feature I use is a taxpayer search. You can search You can search for a taxpayer using their business registration number, the PACRA business registration number, an NRC, or a person's name. It's really, really easy to use. So all these times, you know, you've got issues where you've forgotten your TIPIN or stuff like that. It's very, very easy to come here, search a person's details or the business details using a TIPIN. You can search their TIPIN using their name. You can search using their NRC or their business registration number. That's long digits on the PACRA certificates. Okay, so let me log in to this TIPIN. I'll use my personal account. All right, so the ZRA portal is extremely easy to use and see. You're able to see, sometimes this information is wrong, but you're able to see an overview of your tax calendar. I mean, you're able to see an overview of your tax account over the previous period. You're able to see how much taxes you've paid in the year, which returns are outstanding, which pending liabilities you have, and stuff like that. So this is actually quite good, except that sometimes this information is wrong. But the things which, then you can also do a lot of things. You can do amendments to your tax account, you know, changing your demographic details, adding tax accounts, removing tax accounts, and the likes. You're able to apply for the tax amnesty. I hope you have checked your tax statuses and applied for amnesty. You're able to file returns, view submitted returns, resume returns you're filing, view your legacy returns, file legacy returns, you know, claim refunds, do your compliance, and all these things, even make payments and all. It's a great site. The only issues I have is that some things just don't make sense. So if I go under returns and I go to view filed returns. Okay, so one of the things I absolutely do not like about the ZRA portal is that it is not able to sort data in a logical manner. If I want to find, did I file returns for the entire year of 2021? Logically, you know, you'd expect to come into this, and then, you know, if you click the drop-down arrows, you'd expect that they would be in a sequential logical order. Sometimes it doesn't sort information in a very, very practical order. You know, sometimes this sequential data is sort of thrown asunder. So here you see it's really, really difficult, because sometimes the way things are, you could have missed a month or two, then later on you file them, but when you're trying to check if you actually did file those returns, you'd expect returns to be filed from 1 up to 12 or 12 up to 1. So you'd expect some sort of order so that you're able to know at a glance what is missing and all. So this ZRA doesn't exactly sort things out in the most logical manner. So that's something that happens on a very, very regular basis. Otherwise, this is a great site. It has made tax compliance extremely easy for a lot of people, except income tax. Income tax, I think, does complicate things for a lot of people, knowing which are allowable expenses and all, and things with withholding tax and all. But otherwise, that's a topic for another day. But this is a great site. It's made tax compliance easy for most people. Otherwise, this is a great site, and on the MULO scale, I'll give it an 8.5 out of 10. Now, my number 3 site is the ZPPA portal. This one is if you do a lot of, if you're a tenderpreneur and you do a lot of public procurement and all. The site is, they don't change it that much. It's a little bit complicated when setting up and getting started and all. But once you're set up, it actually is a decent platform to use and to do. So the only issues which I used to have was when you make a payment by card, it would take a long time for them to reflect into your account and update. But the last time I did a payment on a Saturday, I was shocked that it was actually updated within the same time. So it's a good site, and especially if you are doing honest entrepreneur work, it's a really, really great platform to use. So this site does get a MULO's 8.0 on the MULO scale out of 10. So my number 4 on the ranking is the Workers' Compensation portal. They're always doing incremental improvements, so it's getting a little bit better. But anyways, if you come here and you log in as, if you go to the employer account and you log in. So if you log into the account, what's going to happen? If you log into the account, what's going to happen? It's going to show you an overview of your account. It's going to show you funds you're owing or whether you're compliant or not. And because it's only one return filed at the beginning of the year, Fortunately, they moved away from that 31st March financial year to 31st December, so it's synchronized with everybody. It's actually been an okay portal to use. The only thing I absolutely do not like about workers' compensation is that if you are making a payment, it won't show because there's no payment to be made. But one thing I don't like is that if you're making a payment, it's done via bank transfer, and it's really, really difficult to actually get the bank details of workers' compensation. So you basically have to phone them, and then they'll email you their bank details. So it doesn't really make any sense. That's the only thing I don't like about it. Then the other thing I don't like is they changed the reporting. Before, you just needed to report the number of employees you had, their pay, and then it would give you an assessment. But now you have to put, it's like a NAPSA return. You have to put people's date of birth, NRCs, full name, first name, last name, and all those things, date and age, all those things, and then it will give you your assessment. But that's just a simple thing. So I think all in all, it's still a great, easy to use portal, but the ranking will drop maybe to a 6.0 on the MULO scale. And number 5 on the ranking is the NAPSA portal. So this one, I'm not really a big fan. Let me just try to go to it, to the online services, so that I can log in. Okay, so let me log into the account. And once you have logged into the account, it's a relatively clean interface, but it's difficult to get information. There are just a few simple shortcuts you can learn. In case you want to see the returns you've filed, if you go under returns, this is a simple hack I found the hard way. If you go to history and you are trying to find out some returns you submitted at some particular point, you have got these options of active, pending approval, complete, declined, and all. So in case you don't know what you're looking for, you can go through each and every one of them. But a simple hack I found, just go to the submit button, don't put anything, just click submit, and it will give you the entire history of all your returns. It will show which ones are active. Active means that you haven't finished paying the principal. Complete means that you have paid off the principal. Or active actually means, that there's something outstanding, either penalties or principal. Complete means that penalties and principal have been paid off, and the likes. Then if you go under payments, it's the same thing. If you go to here to history and you're looking for a particular payment, you don't know if it's pending, complete, failed, or dropped, all you do is just click on submit, and all the payments that you have done, whether they expired or they got receipted and all, will show. With NAPSA, I've got a love-hate relationship with them. I think their web portal is a little bit difficult to use for first-timers. Even submitting returns can be a little bit cumbersome and all, but otherwise it's okay. Then the other issue is that adding and removing employees. Even if it tells you in the account management that you can delete employees when they stop working, you actually have to write to NAPSA to say that this person stopped working at ABCD point, which is very, very cumbersome because it's a bit difficult to use, and it's very, very difficult to get information out of NAPSA. Sometimes they'll tell you to do ABCD, then when you do it, you find yourself slapped with a lot of penalties, and then the same people who told you to do that will not tell you how to resolve that. And then also there's been this issue of the NAPSA amnesty, which is supposed to come in, the waiver amnesty, which is supposed to come in. The law was passed in December. We're still waiting, and this is April, so it's not a very, very user-friendly portal. The NAPSA, I'll just give it a 6.0 on the MULO scale. Okay, so my number 6 in the ranking is the NHIMA portal. So the NHIMA portal has got a lot going on this site. It's so colorful, the blue is so colorful, and finding information can be really, really difficult. You can upload returns, there's so much information here that doesn't really make that much sense. It's so colorful and all. I know it's still a work in progress. The previous NHIMA portal I actually did enjoy using, but this one I think is a little bit, the graphics and all, they're all over the place. So it's still functional and all, but it gets a hard pass from me. But otherwise it's a decent website, but they need a lot of improvements on it. So I'll just put it at 5.5 on the MULO scale. All right, so last on my list is the government portal. So let me just proceed to log in. It's a very, very difficult to use portal. There's just so much information in it. All right, so this is the portal here. So there's everything from PACRA to RATSA to all these government institutions. So there's so much information, PACRA, all these government institutions and all. And if you're looking for things like PACRA, it's very difficult to know how exactly it's saved. So you might be looking for patent, how I usually find what I'm looking for, I just type annual return, and then I'll find here patents and companies registration. So maybe here I'll just type patents, and still doesn't come. So it's not so easy to use, because there's so many things, registrar of societies, there's all these multiple organizations, government entities and all. And even as you're trying to file, like if you're doing an annual, let's come here to annual return for PACRA, so unless you know what you're doing, you can be clicking on this forever just to realize that you have to apply for service there. And once you apply for service, it brings you here where it automatically assumes that you know the BRN, the business registration number, or other details of the business that you're trying to pay returns for. So if you don't have those, then you have to go to the PACRA website to search the BRN, come back here. Personally, I'm not a big fan of the government portal because there's too much in it. It's difficult to find. And even when you have used it and successfully filed returns and all, it's difficult to know which one is which. It's not saved according to any name. It's just got here PACRA this, PACRA that, RATSA that. So if I'm looking for a particular return for my business among the hundreds I've done, it's near impossible for me to find. I have to go through each of them one by one just to generate those things. That's why I was very sad when PACRA's portal was down briefly and they had migrated or forced us all to migrate to the government portal. I absolutely did not like that. I was happy when PACRA portal came back. But otherwise, it's the great thing about the government portal are the payment options. You've got so many multiple payment options, including mobile money. That's the only nice thing about it, but the rest, I'm not a fan. So this one gets a 5.0 from the Muller scale. So anyway, guys, this was just me sharing my views and opinions on these government portals. Let me know which ones you use, what your views on them are, and any tips, tricks, or hacks that you think I may have missed, which could improve my usage of these portals or change my opinion on some of these portals. I look forward to your comments. Thanks for watching. Mullers, bye.